If you're looking for a classy folding electric bike that doesn't weigh as much as the competition, but also doesn't skimp on features, then the Blix Vika Flex might be for you. In this comprehensive review, I'm gonna go through a walk around, talk about all the components, then we'll get into some first-person riding footage. I'll talk about how the bike feels, rides, and performs, and finally, some third-person riding footage where I talk about the pros and cons of this electric bike. But first, let's take a closer look. Hey everyone, Ryan from Ebike Escape. I certainly think this bike looks classy, but it also has a decent sized battery, powerful motor, and more importantly, US-based customer support. And the Vika Plus is differentiated in the crowded folding e-bike space. But before we get into that, if you are looking to purchase any Blix electric bike, you can support content like this for free by using our affiliate link down in the description. Thank you so much for your support. So let's talk pricing. Standard price on this electric bike is $18.99, though it's currently on sale for $16.49, which I think is a great deal. Now, what I really like about electric bikes like this is they're great for shorter riders. This bike is good for riders all the way down to 4'10" or up to 6'2". It also has a very accessible 16.2-inch standover height, very easy to hop on. I think their size recommendations is spot on. I have a little bit more height that I could raise this seat, but if you're shorter, this seat goes all the way down to 32 inches. I said this is a lighter weight electric bike, only 55 pounds with the battery installed. Take it out and it weighs 47.5. The recommended rider weight is less than 240 pounds. Total payload with the rider and cargo, less than 270 pounds. And it comes in 4 different colors: burgundy, racing green, new cream, and I did reach out to the YouTube audience to help me pick the color. This is the steel blue, which looks really sharp. Stopping power is provided by unbranded hydraulic disc brakes with slightly smaller than we typically see 160 millimeter rotors. And the tires are 20-inch by 2.35-inch wide Kenda tires, more of a hybrid tread. It's a bolt-on axle, and they certainly paid more attention to the looks of this electric bike with paint-matched metal fenders both in the front and the rear. There's also a bright integrated front light, as well as a nice integrated light in the rear, and it is brake actuated. Now there's no front suspension, but that does help keep the weight lower. And at the end of the walk around, I'll fold it. This is a magnet which helps keep the bike together. At the front is a Blix badge, and they do sell some cargo accessories, both for the front as well as that rear rack. There's nice cable management, and the cables run external along the frame. The handlebars can be raised a little bit. This is the lever to fold the handlebars, and you'll notice silver components all over this electric bike. In the cockpit, we have brown locking ergonomic grips, Zoom hydraulic disc brakes with motor cutoffs, a left-hand thumb throttle. On the right is a bell, and a microshift 8-speed twist shifter with a half grip. The display turns on with this bottom button. You can turn the lights on by holding the pedal assist up button, light indicator here, battery capacity at the top, speed front and center, pedal assist, 0 all the way up to 5, odometer in the bottom. Pushing the bottom button will change what's displayed. Trip A, trip B with max speed, and back to odometer. It's a basic display, but what's nice is it's very easy to see, and it's also large. And it even has a USB port on the side, so you can charge your device. There's very minimal Blix branding. The bike comes with metal Welgo silver pedals, push in and flip to fold. And those pedals are paired with matching cranks, as well as a rear-mounted silver kickstand. This bike is using a cadence sensor, which is right here. There's 2 mounting points for a bottle cage here. Check out the one we sell at shop.ebikeescape.com that's adjustable for large water bottles. The battery is located behind the seat tube externally. Turn the keys to the left to unlock. Use 2 hands to lift the battery out. This is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery. It does have a power button, so if you buy this bike, make sure the battery is turned on. There's also indicators for the current capacity. And if you're looking for a solution for battery storage, check out our battery bags, again at shop.ebikeescape.com. To put the battery back, simply line up the grooves, push into place, and don't forget to lock it to the frame. The brown Blix saddle matches the grips, and it also has a handle which can come in handy. Even the rear rack is paint matched with a capacity of 55 pounds. And this to me looks like a Tulia maxi window for a child seat. Even the 500 watt motor is silver. Can you tell that the company cares about aesthetics? And I have to show you this motor because it has a lot of torque. I'm just going to hit the throttle. Talk more about the motor power in the upcoming first-person riding footage. For gearing in the rear, 11 to 32 teeth, again 8 speeds. And in the front is a dual-sided, not surprisingly silver, 52 tooth front chainring. There's a derailleur guard, motor cable coming in on the right, and a microshift 26 rear derailleur. The bike comes with a Blix branded 2 amp charger, an assembly guide, some tools. You also get an adapter for front accessory installation and a cool Blix electric bikes bag. Now let's fold this more petite folding electric bike. I'll start with the pedals, then I'll use the lever on the handlebars, fold those down. Then I'll fold the handlebars. You'll want to make sure the handlebars are in their lowest position because there's not a lot of slack. I'll lift up and pull, put the kickstand up, lift this lever, pull out. And because the cables are external, there's less to worry about with them getting pinched. And we'll set it on its stand. And something I really like is these magnets that's just gonna hold the wheels together. And there we go, a folded Blix Vika Plus. We'll put the dimensions on the screen. Due to the narrower tires, it's just a little bit more compact and it's easier to move around and even easier if you remove the battery. But that's enough talk about these specs. Let's get into some first-person riding footage. All right, I am excited to show you what this bike can do. Nice step-through frame, super easy to get on. And no matter whether you're in pedal assist level 0 or 5, full access to the throttle as a class 2 electric bike, which means a top speed of 20 miles per hour while pedaling or, of course, using the throttle. This bike is using a cadence sensor. Our first test will be throttle alone. I have the speedometer app by Cool Nix on our favorite cell phone mount. This is the bracket mounted one. Fully charged battery. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. Starts off real fast. 14 miles an hour, 16, 17, 18, 19, and there is 20 miles an hour. Now I think the motor, yes, is powerful on this bike, but I also think the fact that the bike is a little bit lighter also just makes it feel like it has a little bit more acceleration. And just riding this bike, I would say it's very nimble thanks to those narrower tires. I did raise the handlebars up just slightly. I do like the ergonomic grips. All right, let's go into the various pedal assist levels. I'm going to shift down all the way into first gear with the twist shifter. Now, that wouldn't be my first choice. I really like the trigger shifters. Some people like twist shifters, kind of a personal preference thing. What I will say though is it's very intuitive to go up and down, so some people might like that. And it's also very clear what gear you're in. All right, pedal assist level 1 in first gear. And the cadence sensor feels very responsive. And I do believe this is a speed-based system, which means I'm only going to get assist up to, it looks like maybe 8 miles an hour. I think I'm maybe pedaling past that with my human power. And so speed-based, every pedal assist level is tied to a current speed. So I'm likely not getting any motor power, at least I can't hear it. And I will say that motor really kind of gets you up to that speed really fast. It doesn't have an easy ramp up. So something to be aware of and ready for if you buy this bike. And in pedal assist level 1, I'd probably go in 3rd gear. Nice leisurely cadence, not providing too much power myself. 10 miles an hour. Let's go into pedal assist level 2. Feel the motor engage. Let's shift up to 4th gear. Going about 12 miles an hour. That feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and go into pedal assist level 3. I feel a pretty big jump between 2 and 3. Let's shift up into 5th gear. Looks like the speed-based pedal assist is cutting me out at maybe 14 or 15 miles an hour. Yeah, looks like around 15, because as soon as I slow my pedaling a little bit, I can hear the motor engage, keeping me at that speed. Let's go ahead and go into pedal assist level 4, 6th gear. Remember, you have 8 speeds, which is nice on this bike, and a larger front chainring, and 11 teeth in the rear. 18 miles an hour. Again, creeping up to the 20 mile per hour top speed. This cadence feels pretty good. And even as a taller rider, this bike is perfectly comfortable to ride. Hopefully you can see getting full leg extension. All right, for this next one, I'm going to go in pedal assist level 5, but I'm going to start from a stop just so you can see how fast this bike gets up to speed. All right, here we go. And there, the motor's kicking on. 10, 14, 16, 17, 19 miles an hour. Display is reading 19.5. I could maybe shift up into 7th gear. There's 20 miles an hour. So gearing wise, I would say this bike is well geared, well thought out for the top speed of 20 miles per hour. I was feeling those bumps, as was my cell phone mount. All right, let's do a brake test here at this tree. I'll test out these Zoom hydraulic disc brakes. Here we go. And no problem. Stopping power with the Zoom brakes. I really like these. They perform just fine. All right, with that, let's see what this bike can do up our hill climb test. One quick thing before we get started, something I was feeling was on the heel of my foot. It was coming in contact with the rear kickstand. You can see just how close, and I'm just riding with the ball of my foot on the pedal. So something, in my opinion, that needs to change when they update this bike is that kickstand, because it just sticks out too far. But let's see how this bike does on our hill climb tests. This is the hill that I test out all the electric bikes that I review on the channel, so you can compare and contrast. The GoPro makes this hill look so much smaller than it is, so we'll put a picture on the screen as well as the specs. We'll get up to the 20 mile per hour mark, and we'll see what the minimum speed is. I have no doubt that this 500 watt motor can make it up this hill. And I'd be very curious what it's peaking at, because it sure feels capable. All right, hill starting now, 18. $16 miles an hour, and anything above 15 is very impressive. Some of the lower powered motors, like motors that are maybe 500 watts peak, will maybe hit like between 9 and 12 miles an hour. So far, 15 miles an hour is the minimum speed, which confirms my thoughts about this motor. And there we go. We are approaching the top of the hill with a minimum speed of 15 miles an hour. This has to be the best performing 500 watt motor, at least that's how they're advertising it, that I've taken up the hill. but it is an electric bike after all, so I'm gonna go back down the hill and I'll test it out while pedaling. All right, we will start in pedal assist level 1, and I'm going to shift all the way down into first gear. Now I imagine pretty quickly I am going to want to go into a higher pedal assist level. I don't really feel the motor because I think we're still above a speed for a little bit there at least, where the motor wasn't even engaging. If I slow down my cadence, I can feel the motor helping me up the hill. Again, that's just the nature of the speed base. Some people like it, some people prefer current based. But in pedal assist level 1, I can go up the hill 7 miles an hour. It's not going to take me past that. First gear though, no problem. Very leisurely cadence. Let's go into pedal assist level 2. All right, we can already shift up second, maybe even third gear. Going about 10 miles an hour. Pedal assist level 3. That's where we had the big jump before. Fourth gear, fifth gear, 12 miles an hour. And that's where you can really hear the motor a lot more. Let's go into pedal assist level 4. I don't feel a significant difference between 3 and 4, at least up the hill. Let's go into pedal assist level 5. Get the maximum power. And it looks like it's gonna hold us at around 13, 14 miles an hour. And I was just hitting the throttle. It feels like using the throttle, I'm actually getting more power out of the motor than I was in pedal assist level 5, which is interesting. Undoubtedly a capable bike up steep hills. But with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage, and I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Blix Vika Flex. Even with the folding e-bike category being one of the most popular segments of electric bikes, the Blix Vika Flex manages to differentiate itself in the $1,000 to $2,000 price point category. At its current price of $1,599, it's not leading in price, but there's a few reasons that make the Vika a compelling e-bike for the right buyer. It's petite looking, and might I add classy looking e-bike that is far less intimidating than your average e-bike. Part of this is due to the thinner tubing around the frame, helped by the fact that the battery is located externally. But that design choice leads to one of the most overlooked specs on an e-bike. With the battery attached, the Vika comes in at 55 pounds and without, sub 50 pounds at 47.5. And for an e-bike that's meant to be portable, this makes a lot of sense. The leading folding e-bike, the Electric XP 3.0, has a stated weight of 64 pounds with the battery installed, and the Ride One Up Portola, an e-bike that I expect to also compete in the top 3 folding e-bikes on the market, has a weight of around 60 pounds. Both of these e-bikes also feature heavy suspension forks, something that the Vika forgoes. Another feature helping keep the weight down on the Vika, more reasonably 2.4-inch wide tires instead of the bulkier 3-inch tires we typically see. Wider tires have their place for versatility, but everyone has their own use case and preferences. Now, I'm not someone who particularly cares about looks, I'm more of a function kind of guy, but it's hard to ignore the extra thought that went into the silver accents throughout, paint match fenders and rear rack, paired with brown grips and seat. Plus, 4 unique color offerings, and might I add that our YouTube audience did a great job with their selection of the steel blue. Moving on to the electronics, the 500-watt motor is surprisingly powerful. Not what you'd expect when you glance at this e-bike. In fact, it outperformed both the Electric XP 3.0 and Portola on our hill climb test, with a minimum speed of 15 miles per hour. Again, my assumption is this is in part due to the weight of the Vika Plus. And certainly those who purchase this e-bike should be very careful using the throttle for the first time. The battery at 14 amp hours is about average for an e-bike at this price, and the display is a simple one, though is large and gives riders most of the information they need. Components wise, Zoom hydraulic disc brakes provide plenty of stopping power. I would have liked to see 180mm rotors, but I still stopped plenty fast coming from the 20 mph top speed. The microshift drivetrains perform well in our experience, though it is worth pointing out the twist shifter, which is a less common choice from manufacturers. More of a personal preference thing than anything. Blix also has US-based support and has a great lineup for most use cases if you're not looking at a folding e-bike. My favorite being the Double. If we here at eBike Escape have helped you decide on an e-bike, either Blix or any other brand, we'd really appreciate your support by using our links down in the description. Before you purchase, it's a free and easy way to help support the channel. If you're looking for a classy folding e-bike that finds a nice balance between weight and power, then the Blix Vika Flex might be your next e-bike. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.